Hi, this is Jana Sullivan from Sullivan J Photography, and I'm so excited that you've started this course called Adobe Lightroom Basics. So what is Lightroom? Lightroom is a software. It's a powerful tool for digital photography, and because it's an Adobe product, it works perfectly with Photoshop. I have given you the link to purchase Lightroom or the bundle Lightroom and Photoshop Creative Cloud, which is a great buy. It's only $9.99 a month. So I'm going to show you Lightroom, and it's a tool that's an all-in-one program for you digital photographers. You can organize your images, develop your photographs with a variety of tools, map your images so you can keep track of where you photographed. You can make a photo book, create a slideshow, print multiple photos with a variety of templates, make creative web presentations. So let's get into that program so I can show you everything that I've just described. In order to understand Lightroom, we need to learn its interface. It may look a little intimidating, but it's not. You'll see that there are main components that do not change within the various working areas in Lightroom. I want you to learn how to upload your photographs, fix them if needed, to be able to print and present them in various ways. But before we start all those lessons, I feel you really should learn the interface so you're not frustrated. So let's just go over some of the basics. I like to show you this top panel up here first. This location right in here. This is the panel that will get you to the various modules. We're in the library. We'll get to the develop and the map, book, slideshow, print, and web. When you click on one of these tabs, it'll get you to that module. But as you can see, as I went to the library and the develop module, we still have the left pane, the working space, and the right pane. The left and right pane are the panels where you're going to make all of your changes. And obviously the middle area is your working space. Let's show you this little guy up here. Do you see that little arrow? This little arrow right here is where you can change up what your panel looks like. You actually can close it by clicking on it or clicking back on it to open the panel. You can right click on the actual triangle and I have it on, as you can see, auto hide and show. But if I want it on manual, I'll click on that. So as I move my cursor up, it's not hiding or opening the module. I actually have to push on the triangle. Let's show you the left and the right panel. Because you might be in a mode where you want to see more of the panel or less of the panel. As you can see, when I put my cursor on the very sides, look right here, see how it changes? You can click on it and open this farther if you like, or you can drag it down to make it smaller. Same here. Click it off to the left. Say if you want to see more workspace, then you can drag it to the left and the right. And I don't know if you noticed, but these both have the triangle over here to the right, and it does the same thing. You can open and close just like I showed you previously on the top panel. You can also both on each of them do a manual or a hide, or you can sync with the opposite panel. So if I do the sync, That means if I close this out, both panels will close. If I click on the arrow again, both will open. It also goes with the top and the bottom. If you look at the bottom down here, whoops, the bottom guy has an arrow also, and that will sync up if I want that to happen. The toolbar down below is pretty important, I feel. I actually use this toolbar down here. You can customize it to the way you want by clicking on the little arrow down here on the bottom right. So right now I have paint and this select flagging, but if I want to rate my photos, I would add that. It just popped up if you look here. Let's add some more. Color label if I want to add color labels. But as you see here, this is just for the library location or module. If I go to the development, I have a whole different set, or actually I still have these, but I have a little bit more information in the development module. Click on that and I can go ahead and add, or say I don't want the color label because I already have it on the library, and then I just click it off, and there you've seen that it's just disappeared. Again, I can go through each module, but I want you to understand that the toolbar works for each of these modules, and you can customize everything that you would like within each of these locations. Let's show you some keyboard shortcuts that I feel that will really help you when you're working in Adobe Lightroom. The first keyboard shortcut that I feel is important is the Tab key. If you click on the Tab key, it gets rid of the two side panels very easily. The next is the Shift tab, which gets rid of the actual side panels and the module and the film strip. Shift tab again brings them back. The T key gets rid of this toolbar right here. If you click on that, click on the T, bring it back by clicking on the T again. There's a really awesome new to Lightroom 5, which is called Lights Out. So if I want to look at a photograph and I don't want all of the distractions, because sometimes you're working in your flow and it can be distractive, but you're like, I want to really focus on the photograph. If you click on the L, it gives you a semi-transparent or dark background. If I click on the L again, it's totally lights out, which is really good when you're focusing on the main subject. Click on the L again, and everything appears. So let's go ahead and let's get it all off. So if I want to do full screen, I type in the F so I can have a full screen. And then I really can see this is an iPhone, and look, I've blown out this. So it's a great tool to really see what you're doing while you're playing with your images. Now I want to show you a little bonus. Did you notice this down here, this little panel at the very bottom? This is really a powerful tool, and it's small because you don't really need to have it full blown to understand it. Over here to the left, you can see that number 1 is highlighted, and that's because this is my monitor, number 1. If I had a second monitor, I could click on that and it gives me a loop. Now I can use it with this monitor, but if I had another computer, I could actually visualize this in a bigger area and then work over here on my first monitor. So then I don't have the distractions as I'm looking at this photograph and the things that I want to do to it. Click on 2 again and get rid of it. This area right in here will give me the grid. What's nice about this little panel is that it doesn't change as you go to the various modules. So look here, I'm going to go to the Develop module, and it's still here. Nothing's changed. Same with the map. And what's nice, what I like about it actually, is that if I need to check out the various filters, which we haven't talked about, we will talk about that in the library lesson. But if I wanted to check out just my flagged photographs, then I can change it here. Or if I wanted to view a different way of seeing the photographs that I'm working on, I can pick the sources here. So this is a really good tool to have when you're working and going back and forth with the different modules. So let's get back to the grid view by clicking on this little grid down here to the bottom left, Library Grid. And I'm back in the library grid, which I really like because if I'm working on any of these modules and I want to get back to say look at or view a variety of my photographs, then I just click on that grid. One thing I want to show you though is a quick little tip, especially in the Develop module. If I'm working on my photographs and say I want to do some split toning or whatever, we'll talk again more in detail in the lesson. But as you can see, as I use the arrow keys to go down and say if I want to go to split toning, each time I'm using these arrows and I want to click on another arrow, if I want to go to lens correction, for example, it closes out the other pane. And the reason why it's doing that is because I've actually done a right click and I've made this I've changed this to a solo mode. If I unclick the solo mode, if I'm working in the tone curve or split toning, as you can see, now all of these are open, and it can get a little confusing and too much information for me. But it's up to you. This is why we're in this lesson, so you can make Lightroom easy for you. So for me, I like the solo mode. I'm going to click on the solo mode. But as you right click again, you see all the different goodies that you can choose from. So you can play with this at your leisure. And to get back to the way you were again, just right click and then either uncheck or check it. Thing that I like to show you, if you go up to the toolbar at the very top and put your cursor on the help, you can also look at the variety of help tips for the individual modules. I am on the Develop module, so if I click on that, it will highlight the area that it's talking about. So if you actually have questions within that module, just go ahead and click in that area and then click off. If you already know, you can just click off to the side if you already know the rest. Let's go to the library just to show you. Now you could see it's changed to library module tips. So you click on that and it's going to tell you, it's highlighted up here to the left, it's going to tell you what it is, and you just go to next, next, next. And to say if you're already done, you can go all the way, but if you're done and say, okay, I already know everything, you can just, you can turn off the tips, or you could just click off to the side and it's off. Another great help tool is the actual keyboard shortcuts. So I'm in the library module and it's showing me here library module shortcuts. So let's click on that and it gives me a list of the various shortcuts within the library module. If I go ahead and just click on it, it goes away. If I type or click on the Develop module, again, you can see that it gives you the Develop module shortcuts. So if you want to print those out, that's fine. I've given you the PDF, but things change. So I suggest that if you're really interested in shortcuts, definitely check this out. So next I'd like to show you actually the Lightroom preferences. So if we go down to Lightroom and Preferences, I'm not sure, I think it's Edit and Preferences in a PC. I think what I'll do is I'll check that out and add it to the course. But here's the shortcut. As you can see, always pay attention to your shortcuts. We'll go ahead and get into the preferences. This guy is in the way. Sorry about that. And here we are. If you go to the interface, that is what we're talking about today, this interface. Here's where you can actually change up the way you want your panels to look. You can do a different screen. Let's go ahead and do a small little goodie over here to the left, a small flourish. You can actually add your own end marks if you like. You can change the dim in the lights out if I wanted a little bit less, say 50%. But I actually like the default, so I'm going to leave that. My background, you can change it, your main window, which I showed you before, the one over here to the left, or the second. If you want to change the secondary window, you can change that depending on what you like. Texture, I don't like texture because it's already a distraction sometimes when I have all the panels, so I just leave those off. Then you can change your keywords, which we will talk a little bit later, and also change up what you want to see in the film strip. You can also have an area where you would like to say zoom in when you click on to a point in the center of your photograph, say if you want to see something up close. So wherever you point, it will zoom in and out. I personally don't use that. But I feel that it's good for you to understand that you can change even more of your interface through the Preferences tab or panel. We talk about so many tabs and panels, it can get confusing. But at least you can visually see this. Take your time, understand the interface, so when we get to the next lesson, which is the library lesson, then you'll be able to understand where I'm at and how I'm using Adobe Lightroom. In my next lesson, number 2, we're going to get into detail on the library panel. This is where you can easily organize and manage your photographs. So please download that keyboard shortcut PDF that I gave you. If you want to learn more about me, check out sullivanjphotography.com. Have a great day, and we'll see you in lesson 2. Cheers!